Hi Cancer and Cancer Rising, this is your December 2016 forecast. So until the 21st of December, the Sun is going to be in your 6th house. And this is quite a different flavor to having the Sun in the 5th house, where it's all about, having fun, leisure, sports, speculative risks, creative business projects. The Sun in the 6th is about duties and responsibilities. It's the house of work and the house of health. So there's a lot of diligence and focus in this regard. So focus on the service that you provide to others. You're more sensitive to the needs of bosses and clients. And you're also able to offer excellent service at this time. But duties and obligations come to the fore, and it's about practical necessities, things that need to be done, the work at hand, and attending to your health as well. Getting into a good healthy routine. With the new moon on the 29th in this house, it's a good time to start a new diet or exercise routine, because with the Sun in the 6th and the new moon here, one can become a little bit of a hypochondriac and be unduly concerned about health, possibly because you're working very hard. So attention to health matters is also very important when you're working as hard as you are now and fulfilling all those duties and obligations. We've also got Mercury going retrograde later in the month in your 7th house, and this is the house of partnerships and other people and all our significant one-on-one interactions. So with Mercury in this house, this can bring up all kinds of unspoken contracts, everything from who takes out the trash to whose bank account gets used to make certain payments. So things that have been unspoken tend to come up and be under discussion at this time. So you may find yourself having lots of discussions around who does what and what's fair and, delegating responsibilities. But with Mercury in this house until the end of January pretty much, you'll really feel like this is an opportunity to get to know your partner better. With Mercury retrograde, there can be the usual misunderstandings, miscommunications, etc. for you in the house of partnerships. But it's also just revisiting issues, and Mercury here gives you a level of detachment, so you're not as emotionally invested, so you're able to have very practical intellectual discussions with partners, whether they're business or romantic, and really make your partnerships more fruitful and fair and equitable in the long run. So Mercury here can be quite a useful placement. So partnerships at the fore. So with the new moon in your 6th house, the focus has been on work and health and all the things that need to get done at this time of year. So focus on unfinished business, focus on excellent service, really key here. And the full moon later this month will be in your 12th house. And here you may feel like you need a bit of a break. Emotions can feel, a bit high at this time. You may feel that you're a bit weighed down by all those duties and obligations and feeling a bit tired and emotionally frazzled. And it may be time to delegate some of those tasks. So we've also got Venus and Mars together in your 8th house between the 8th and the 19th of December. And this, besides being the house of joint resources, this house also has to do with intimacy issues. So with Venus and Mars together in the 8th, this can really stimulate intense interactions with other people. So if you're in a partnership, you can have more intense feelings around, connecting with the other person. And if you start a relationship at this time, it tends to be more intense for its duration. So very strong emotional contacts, very charged and sizzling. So very good for intimacy, for one-on-one interactions and close relationships, but for romantic potential, the sparks really can fly. So Venus in the 8th can also attract money to you through your spouse. So if you're in a committed relationship, then you may find that your partner gets a bonus or an increase, so more money coming to you through them. You can also find more returns from your investments coming in at this time, because Venus can attract things to you without you having to make too much effort. With Mars here, there's a lot of focus on making more money and getting your financial affairs in order. And if you were going to take out a loan, the first 2 weeks of the month would be a better time before Mercury goes retrograde. But just make sure you and your partner are on the same page, because Mars and Venus together can really have some conflicting interests in the areas of joint finances. And it may also be that a partner is spending extravagantly or you're spending extravagantly, so it's time to have that discussion around financial affairs. Okay, so let's look at the transits this month. On the 1st, we've got Mars trining Jupiter. And Mars and Jupiter together is very industrious. It's a lot of energy and enthusiasm. So this is very good for advancing interests, and for you this can be around financial matters. You're able to really act in accordance with your own best interests. So good for finances, good also for the home. So this can help you get a lot done around the home, or with property concerns generally, or with financial affairs and investments. So use this energetic transit. And a good balancing aspect is coming up on the 3rd. Mars is sextiling Saturn between your 8th and your 6th house. So this is where you get practical and real and attend to all the nitty-gritty details. So taking those big ideas and breaking it down into tangible steps. So good for planning, strategizing, and organizing. And for you, attending to work responsibilities and duties. So on the 6th, we've got Mars sextiling Uranus from your 8th to your 10th house. So the 10th house is that house of career and professional advancement and recognition and visibility. And Uranus in your 10th has probably had some unexpected developments happening for you professionally over the last while and for some time to come. So occasionally these contacts can lead you into new directions and avenues of work, exciting new opportunities. So Mars and Uranus together has you feeling like you want to take the initiative, go in a new direction. You're focused on, you may be feeling a little bit erratic and impulsive with regards to career decisions at this time. So on the 9th, we've got the Sun sextiling Jupiter between your 8th and your 4th house. And this puts you into a very lucky and optimistic frame of mind around the home, around joint resources. So this could be around money that you want to invest in the home, or a kind of focus on property and home concerns. You're thinking clearly, you're thinking big. So it can also favor professional activities around budgets, around the home for you, and help you make plans in these regards, and so on. On the 10th, we've got the Sun conjuncting Saturn in your 6th house. And the Sun and Saturn together in the 6th, the Sun and Saturn always bring up duties, responsibilities, obligations. It's things that we have to attend to that we don't always feel like doing. And in the house of work, this can mean there's a lot of tedious, monotonous work that just seems never ending that you have to attend to. But one can get a lot of recognition and accomplishment from attending to these things at this time. So it's also very good for practical organizing and planning around work and health affairs. So get your affairs in order. The focus is really there this month. So on the 12th, we've got the Sun sextiling Uranus between your 6th and your 10th houses. And these are the houses of work, professional recognition, advancement. So this can really have you taking up new avenues or activities around the work, perhaps learning new skills. Uranus is that planet of technology, so new technological skills, or just applying yourself in a novel and different way. So the full moon is going to be on the 14th and in your 12th house. And with that polarity between the 6th and the 12th house, you can really feel weighted down by lots of duties and obligations, especially work responsibilities and things weighing you down, especially with the contacts with Saturn with this full moon. So it may be time to delegate some responsibilities. You may feel yourself feeling a little bit dejected and blue around this time. The moon and Saturn together can make one feel a little bit down, and that your own needs have been neglected. But the moon in the 12th house, the full moon, also very good for getting rid of things in your life that don't serve you any longer. So this can pertain to work or health, and maybe you need to spend a little bit of time to yourself just to let off a bit of steam and to let the moods pass, so that when you're feeling better, things are in a clear perspective. So Mercury goes retrograde on the 19th of the month, and like I said, this is going to be in your house of partnerships. So Mercury in the 7th house, the focus is on marriage, business partnerships, consulting, and renegotiating terms with Mercury retrograde. So looking at all aspects of partnerships, threshing things out, discussing things. Mercury here will give you a degree of detachment, so very good for having those necessary conversations. If you do sign a contract at this time, just make sure that you read the small print, so pay attention to detail. And traditionally not a good time to set a date for a wedding or get married, but it's a very good time to refine relationships and partnerships. So on the 24th, we've got quite a significant aspect. Saturn is trining Uranus in between your 6th and your 10th houses. So Saturn is that planet of stability, structure, discipline, hard work. And Uranus is that planet of the new, progressive. It's very independent and novel. So it's really the best of both worlds. So you may find yourself doing novel work or going off in a new direction, but in a very structured, disciplined way. Around work and professional advancement, you're really thinking out of the box. So this is quite exciting and progressive, and this is an aspect that we'll see more of in 2017. So originality, discipline, new avenues of inquiry, new opportunities professionally coming up. So on the 25th, we've got Venus trining Jupiter and Venus sextiling Saturn and Venus sextiling Uranus. So whether you celebrate Christmas or not, this is definitely a day of socializing, having a good time, relaxing, putting your feet up, going to a party, entertaining. So with all those Venusian contacts, you definitely want to be having a good time and not be missing out on the fun. So on the 26th, we've got Jupiter opposing Uranus between your 4th and your 10th house, and this is also a very significant aspect that you'll see more of in 2017. And in this angular placement, because the 4th house and the 10th house are very strong points in the chart, this can show unexpected opportunities coming for you professionally. Events or other people can present new things that can really help us reform our circumstances, improve our circumstances. So exciting opportunities around the home, property concerns, or professional advancement. So very interesting and exciting aspect happening, and like I said, we'll be seeing more of it in 2017. So on the 28th, we've got the Sun now in the 7th house sextiling Mars. So the Sun in the 7th really emphasizing that theme of partnerships, consulting, one-on-one significant relationships. And sextiling Mars, this could have you thinking more idealistically, more in terms of goals and objectives, possibly around study and travel for you. So taking the initiative, again, a lot of energy, a lot of focus and vigor. On the 29th, we've got the new moon in Capricorn in your 7th house, and this house of partnerships again. And with Capricorn, it's very structured, tangible, concrete. So looking at how you can improve or make lasting changes to your partnerships, what is going to make them workable, what is going to make them feasible, what practical adjustments can you make within your partnerships, because the Sun, Moon and Mercury will be lined up. So perhaps revisiting themes, having conversations, sextiling Mars, perhaps taking some risks, making those kinds of key adjustments within your partnerships. So a very practical and intense partnership period for you coming up, with Mercury retrograding here, and will also be in Capricorn until the end of January. So partnerships really being refined, revisited, and practical and concrete steps to do so. And, negotiating contracts, diplomacy, those sorts of things, very crucial for you. So the month ends with the Sun sextiling Neptune and Mars conjuncting Neptune. And this is again in the house of partnerships, but also in the house of travel, new experiences, and how we make our life meaningful and significant. So these aspects make us very sensitive to other people, more inclined to be of service, looking at the needs of others. So perhaps more inclined to behave altruistically or do something charitable or gracious. So partake of that spirit in this festive season. If you've enjoyed this forecast, please like and subscribe, and have a happy new year. Thank you so much for listening.